Hi everyone, and welcome to Day 4 of the Very Crafty Holiday 2018 feature. It's Carolyn here, and I'm here today to share a video tutorial where I'll share 4 different ways to create an advent calendar, all using the cross-stitch tag and the Scallop cross-stitch tag dynamics. An advent calendar is a special calendar used to count down the days from the 1st of December to Christmas Day. You'll see that once you create these tags, you can potentially use them from year to year. They take a bit of time to create since you're creating 25 of them, but in the end you have 25 hand-stitched tags that you and your family can enjoy from year to year for a fun holiday tradition that can potentially be passed on from generation to generation. Let's start with a basic tag design and creation. I've die-cut the cross-stitch tag from some red-hot cardstock, and you can see that each space in between the 4 holes accounts for 1 stitch. If you count all those spaces, you have 17 stitches horizontally and 21 stitches vertically. Any design you cross-stitch needs to fit inside that grid. I found a pattern on Pinterest that I liked, and I altered it a bit to fit my tags. I used a grid pad to design each tag, and I've created a PDF that will be linked below in the video description if you want to use the same pattern that I used on my tags. But to show you how I created each design, I'll demonstrate it here on my Smart Grid pad. I'm using each square in my grid as a stitch, and I count 17 stitches horizontally and 21 stitches vertically. I want each design to be centered and all the numbers are the same height, so each number is counted 6 stitches from the top to bottom, and where the design starts horizontally depends on the width of the number. I'm showing how I created the design for the number 1, so I'm counting 10 stitches horizontally from the left edge and 6 stitches vertically from the top edge. That's where I'll mark my first stitch. I've threaded some white embroidery floss through the eye of an embroidery needle, and I'll count 10 stitches over from the left and 6 stitches down to mark where I'll place my first stitch. I push the needle through the bottom left hole of the stitched area from the back to the front. I pull the thread most of the way through to the front and hold a small piece of thread on the back with my finger. I'll push the needle through the upper right hole, still holding on to that back thread piece with my finger, and pull the thread all the way through to the back. Then I push the needle through the bottom right hole, pull the thread all the way to the front, and push the needle through the upper left hole and pull the thread all the way to the back. Check to make sure the end of your thread has been locked in by your first stitch, and then repeat this process until your stitch design is complete. It's that simple. I like to use a full skein of embroidery thread because I like how the thread fills the spaces better than if I split the threads apart. But if you want to, you can separate the threads of your embroidery floss and use just a few of the threads instead. Once you've done this a few times, you'll see how easy and logical the whole process is. I love to sit and stitch while I'm watching TV or riding in the car on long road trips. I have a friend that does this while she's waiting in line to pick up her kids at school or while she's hanging out at her kids' baseball games. And with 25 tags, you'll see that it takes a bit of time to stitch them all. So keep that in mind when you get ready to make your advent calendar tags. It took me several hours to do the stitching and several hours to do the die cutting and assembly. It's not a quick project, but all of the love and effort you put into the tags will be well worth the happiness that they bring to your kids or grandkids when they see them all on display. When you get to the final stitch, flip the tag over to the back and run your needle through several stitches to secure the end. Use some sewing scissors to snip off the end. I keep all the items that I use for cross-stitching in this handy container. It includes my sewing scissors, extra needles, some threaders for helping me thread the eye of the needles, and any previously threaded needles that have leftover threads still on them. I like to pre-thread my needles when I'm starting a project, especially when I'm using multiple colors like I am in this project. I'm all about being prepared, and any steps that I can take to make the process as efficient as possible, I do. Next, I've die-cut the Scallop cross-stitch tag from some limelight cardstock, which layers perfectly under the cross-stitch tag and adds a sweet scallop border around the whole tag. I also die-cut the topper from some green polka dot pattern paper, and I'll adhere it to the top of the red tag with some liquid adhesive. To adhere the red tag to the green tag, I'm using some strong 1/8 inch wide double-sided tape. The stitching adds a bit of depth to the tag, so this strong double-sided tape ensures that the tag stays together over time. I've added tape to all the outer edges of the back of the red tag, and this should guarantee that it won't be coming apart anytime soon. I'm using the edge of my scissors to lift off the release paper from the tape, and I carefully position the red tag in the center of the green tag, making sure that the tag holes line up and the scallop border is even before I press down on that tape. Once it's stuck, it's stuck. I repeated that entire process 25 times using a fun and whimsical color palette for my tags. I used Summer Splash, Razzleberry, Limelight, Red Hot, and Smooth White cardstock for my tags, and I used 7 different patterns from the new Candyland 6x6 pattern paper pack for the toppers. I used 4 different colors of embroidery thread for the stitching that coordinated with my color palette. I thought it'd be fun to have holiday-themed activities listed on the back of each tag, and these clear inkjet labels were perfect for formatting and printing a list of activities that could easily be trimmed and added to the back of each tag. I've created a PDF of the labels that I created, and it'll be linked below in the video description if you'd like to use it too. I had this frame on hand from a few years ago that was perfect for displaying my tags, and these mini clothespins that I had in my stash were also perfect for attaching each of the tags. I've seen these clothespins at all the big box stores, so I'm sure you can find something similar. The frame, however, has been discontinued and may be harder to find this exact one. But I can tell you that the inside of the frame measures 15 inches by 20.5 inches, and there are 5 strands of picture hanging wire threaded from left to right with screw-in loops on either end. If you're the handy type, you could probably pick up a similar size frame and do this yourself. The idea is to hang each of the tags, and as each day of Advent begins, turn that day's tag from front to back to show your next holiday activity. I've done this for my grandkids in the past, and they loved it. Here's a close-up of what the tags look like on the front and the back, and what the whole frame looks like with all the tags displayed. Isn't it so cute? Another fun way to use the Advent tags is to attach them to a small gift bag and include your child's favorite candy or small gifts. I found these mini treat bags at Hobby Lobby and had the red shred in my stash. I just added some shred to the bottom of each bag, threw in their favorite candy or small gift, and folded the top of the bag. I used a 1/4-inch hole punch to punch 2 holes at the top, and threaded some 3/8-inch ribbon through the holes. I threaded the tag through the ribbon and tied the ribbon into a bow to secure the tag to the bag. Wouldn't it be so fun to display all the gift bags on a holiday mantle or special area in your house, so that when a new day of Advent begins, your child can run to that day's gift bag and delight in its contents? Be sure and save the tag for next year. The bags are cheap and easily replaced each year. Not a fan of candy? My grandkids love Pokemon cards, Hatchimals, sugar-free chewing gum, and chapstick. Hit up the dollar store or the dollar spot at Target. I have no doubt you'll find lots of non-candy treats that your kids will love. Here's another idea to use the Advent calendar tags, maybe for older kids. I had these mini glassine bags in my stash that perfectly fit a gift card. I just slipped the gift card inside the glassine bag, folded the top, punched 2 holes, threaded some 1/4-inch ribbon through the holes in the tag, and tied a bow to secure it. These could be displayed on the same frame as the one in my first example, or you could even leave one on their pillow or nightstand to welcome each day of Advent. You don't have to put lots of money into this. $5 at Starbucks, Target, the dollar store, or Chick-fil-A will make any kid happy. And it's a fun way to continue the tradition from early childhood long into the tweens and teens. Establishing these long-standing traditions are for me what the holidays are about. And it's even better when these traditions are carried on into the next generation. To add a hand-stitched touch to a tradition like this is so personal and special. And what tween or teen doesn't love a gift card? If you don't have glassine bags on hand, you could die cut a slot in the back of the Scallop cross-stitch tag, which I did here using the gift card grooves dynamics, assemble as mentioned above, and slip the gift card into the slot. Again, these could be displayed on the previously mentioned frame or placed on the child's pillow or nightstand at the beginning of each day, assuming, of course, that mom and dad are up before their child. At some point, they may not care too much about the tag as much as they look forward to the contents, but the long-standing tradition of the tag and the gift is what they'll remember most. And here's a final look at all 4 options for the Advent Calendar cross-stitch tags. For our family, it's these kinds of traditions, carried on from generation to generation, that make the holidays such a special time. Whether you're a spiritual family or not, the Advent Calendar can be whatever you want to make it, and that's what I love about these crafts. Celebrate this holiday season however you like to celebrate it, and add some new traditions to help make your holiday season even more special than the year before. I so hope you enjoyed watching my video today, and that you'll be trying this out for yourself. Be sure and check out the other Very Crafty Holiday videos, And stay tuned for the final day of videos tomorrow. Until next time, have an awesome day.